to Become with Havilah. So today we'll begin our study of the parables of Jesus with the Good Samaritan from Luke chapter 10 verse 25 to 37. Now, before we look at the parable itself, we need to understand the question that led Jesus to tell it. So let's begin. Now, Luke tells us that a lawyer stood up and asked Jesus, "Teacher, what shall I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus directed him back to the law. What is written in the law? What is your reading of it? Now the man answered with two commands. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself. Jesus told him, "You've answered correctly. Do this and you will live." But then Luke tells us that the lawyer, desiring to justify himself, asked Jesus another question. "And who is my neighbor?" And the question becomes the setting for Jesus' parable. The question seems simple, but it reveals something deeper. The lawyer wasn't asking how to love, he was asking who qualifies as his neighbor. Where is the boundary? Who am I responsible for? Jesus doesn't answer with a definition, he tells a story. Man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and on this journey the man was attacked by robbers. They stripped him, they beat him, and they left him half dead. Then three people came along that dangerous road: a priest, a Levite, and finally a Samaritan. And this would have been very striking to Jesus's Jewish audience because of the deep hostility between the Jews and the Samaritans. Now, the Samaritan sees the wounded man and he had compassion on him. He goes to him, treats his wound, places him on his own animal. Then he took him to an inn, pays for his care, and even tells the innkeeper that he will cover whatever further care is needed. Notice the progression. He saw, he had compassion, he went to him, and he acted. This wasn't merely feeling sorry for someone. This was mercy that moved him to action. And now Jesus brings the story back to the lawyer's question. The lawyer asks, "Who is my neighbor?" And later Jesus asks, "Which of these three proved to be a neighbor to the man who fell among the robbers?" And that changes the question completely. In part 2, we will see Jesus' answer and what it teaches us about loving our neighbor. And thank you very much for joining me today. And remember, you're not stuck, you're simply becoming. I'll see you in the next episode.